Well, hello! I'd like to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This week you won't see a lot of change, but I did think it would be fun to experiment with the black tray and just see how it worked out. But there are some big changes upcoming because a lot of these are almost out of ink. So let's take a look at these pens. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And if you'd like to comment on anything you see here, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Let's dive into the pens. From left to right, I have a Centropen Lady Celluloid, which is always good for a close-up and looks dynamic on this black background. Here are the two pens I didn't think would stand out very well. I have a Garant Alkor, which is an East German pen. I have a Senator. I don't know anything about it, so we'll just call it a Senator Cracked Blind Cap. A Waterman Hemisphere. A Parker Duofold Centennial. A Lamy Aion. And, since the unfortunate death of the nib of my Lamy 2000, my Kaweco V14S. So those are the pens I'm using. I have my Bomo art journal. We'll take a look at how these things write. So my first pen is a Centropen Lady Celluloid. Amber and red finish. It's just a gorgeous celluloid. You've seen my, in fact, two of my viewers have purchased one like my really fancy Centropen. I actually like this finish better, but I like the nib on the other one better. But wow, that is just beautiful. And it's a communist pen from communist Czechoslovakia. No getting around that. This one is a little bit on the small side. This is why they call it a ladies' pen, I guess, because them little ladies can't have no big men pens. So it's one of those pens I have to post. It is a Centropen. I have had a lot of trouble getting this ink to write, although I am pleased to say not on this paper. So apparently this ink likes this paper. Whoops, misspelled celluloid. And I did it again, but I'll just squeeze an E in. Wow, that was just a mess. Ignore my handwriting. The ink in it is Herbin. Parfum. Orange. And you can see the railroading there. Like I said, this pen and this ink are not friends. The nib in this pen is gold, is ISCO, branded with ISCO, 14 karat, 585, which means basically the same thing. No branding that says Centropen on it. No ink window or anything, and definitely a little scratching from the cap, but overall a very nice pen that I picked up used on Etsy or eBay or something. I saw it for sale. This one has also been for sale on myuberpens.com. I don't know if it was one of my viewers that purchased it. At the time, I didn't make a big deal of it. I have not done a review of this pen yet. I thought I would be doing a review of it until I put this ink in it, and wow, they are not friends. So this is about the most impressive performance I've seen with this ink, and I have been relatively happy with this pen, so I blame the ink. And it happens. Sometimes a pen and an ink just hate each other. And of course, the third part of that triangle is the paper. This is a Garant Alcor. And I just noticed this. I hadn't noticed it the last time I reviewed, I don't think. See, it says Garant Alcor here on the blind cap. So that's a neat little touch for an East German pen. I should point out before I go any further, this might be a steel nib. but it's writing very well. I want to thank Chris Sains for my interest in this ink. She wrote me a letter entirely in this ink because she's been doing a 30-day challenge to use one ink a day. Herbin, Poussière, de Lune. Moon Dust. Just a very attractive purple. I call this next pen Senator Cracked Blind Cap because I don't know the model. I have a few Senators where I do know the model. This is unfortunately not one of them. I may review it not knowing the model. It was a gift from a viewer. Just one of those attractive slim black pens that I like. With somebody last week called this a fingernail nib. Come on, focus. Which in some ways kind of makes sense because it's inlaid a lot like a fingernail. Somebody last week remarked that this sounded like the name of a comedy. I'm thinking now like Yes Minister or Yes Prime Minister, which is a British production, which if you haven't seen it, even if you're in the United States, is definitely well worth watching for its insights on politics. And I know I get in trouble every time I bring up politics on this channel, but so what? It's my channel. The ink is also, I think I said this already, a gift from a viewer who felt I need to explore Diamine a bit more. That looks really messy. Well, it's 7:55 at night, and I decline quickly as the day wears on. My next pen is a Waterman Hemisphere. I was asked, because this is my exclusively Bay State Blue pen, I was asked about if I'm worried about damage. What I've read about Bay State Blue is it attacks melts feeds, particularly in I think it was Lamy feeds, but from what I've read, that was a defective batch of feeds. I've also heard that it melts sacks, but this pen does not have a sack. So I'm not overly worried. Honestly, if this weren't my Bay State Blue pen, it's not particularly one of my favorite pens. It just happens to handle Bay State Blue very well. No feathering, no overflow. Just a very good job. Of course, I have a fine point nib. And the ink is Noodler's Bay State Blue, which is a good highlighting ink. It's also good for correcting student papers if you have it in the right pen, because it, wow. I was just saying last week that I can write and talk at the same time. It's very good because it stands out, but if you have worries about using red because you don't want to damage the precious little bunchkin's self-esteem, it's blue. I mean, admittedly a very eye-searing, bright shade of blue, but it's blue, so, I'm so horrified by red. Well, it's blue, so toughen up, Buttercup. Then I bring out my rather expensive purchase from this summer, although not as expensive as you would think, knowing what these go for. Pro tip, if you're not offended by the idea of a pen somebody else has used, look for the used market, or shop around. There's some good bargains if you just shop around. But this is a Parker Duofold. I have not found, and I have looked all the places people have suggested, I have not found a date code. The only thing I found that reminds me even remotely of a date code is if I unscrew the cap, the barrel, wow, 758 now, it's showing. That's the only thing that says date code to me. 18 could be a manufacturing year. You know, I just don't know. But that's the only thing I've found that suggests date code to me. I mean, maybe it's hidden and I'm just too dumb to see it, or too blind or something, but I can't find it. And I can find it on most of my Parkers. So this is a Parker Duofold Centennial. I have a fine nib in it, although I am considering purchasing more nibs. And the ink in it is I had to look this up. Platinum Classic Cassis Black. I'm looking at filming a review of this pen. I don't know when it'll be published, but I want to get that batch filming of reviews caught up again. So like, do feel free to, if it's a busy week, just take a week off. Not ready for a review yet, but because it's only on its first fill of ink. Lamy Aion, which I'm amazed I haven't written this dry yet, because I have been writing with it a lot, but I think the extra fine nib in it is why I haven't written it dry. So extra fine nib. And the ink in it is Herbin, Parfum, Lavande. And in these dark weeks, since the death of my Lamy 2000 fine point nib, may she rest in peace, I've been using this pen, and this pen has been stellar. I think I said when I reviewed this pen, that's been a year or so, maybe? If I'd owned this pen first, I don't know if I would have purchased a Lamy 2000, because this is an excellent daily writer. And I've written a lot with this too, because, I mean, you just write with black all the time. That's what I do. My novel, my notes, meeting notes. I've been taking a robotics class. All of that. I just write with a black nib, black fine nib. And yet, this is such a slender pen, and small because I have to post it. It's not empty yet. It's very stingy with the ink. This isn't a pen that you buy because you want to show off your gorgeous shade of ink. This is a pen you buy because you plan to do lots of writing. And it's comfortable. I mean, it's slim, but very comfortable. And of course, my Lamy Black. I don't have a particularly emotional attachment to Lamy Black, but I think I did a video, was it 2 summers ago, why I switched to Lamy Black from Noodler's Black. I guess if I had an emotional attachment, it might be to Parker Quink Black. I don't know. So those are the pens I have in use this week. Except, what's this I feel in my pocket? Could it be a Lamy 2000? The Lamy 2000 is back. So let me show you how it writes, and then we'll get into what happened. Writing like a champ. And I've been doing a lot of writing with it, and this poor Kaweco is like, wait, can I just use up what's in me before you put me away? I'm going to have to find a role for that Kaweco, because that's got to be in rotation more often. So what I'm showing you here is where the grip section screws into the barrel. You can see a line there. When I replaced the nib, I had a lot of leakage at that point. I was very unhappy. So I've had to play a little bit with tightening and untightening this, but I think I've found the balance. I may even be on my second fill already this week. I said I've been using this puppy a lot since I got it back. But anyway, I think, well, I'll just show you what I think happened. But yes, I'm a very happy squirrel. Put it back in my pocket, and let's bring out some visual aids. This visual aid is the nib that landed on the floor. Now it's inside the envelope that the new nib arrived in. Lamy does not sell these nibs directly. I don't know how this company obtained them. I've got the feeling that it might actually be, scavenged from damaged Lamy 2000s. I don't know. But it's a tiny nib. I mean, there it is in the crook of my hand. I just grab the Garant Alcor. Hardly a monster beast of a nib. Not tiny, but not a monster. So Lamy 2000 has a very small, admittedly gold nib. And you can tell it's gold because you can see the F written on it, which doesn't mean gold. And then the 585, and then Lamy. So the size is written on your Lamy nibs. You just can't see it unless you take the pen apart. So let's talk about that, because that's what made me nervous. So I have here, and hopefully I put it back together correctly, my Lamy 2000 with a broad nib. So we'll uncap it. I'm going to do something I've never done to this pen, because this just isn't something I feel the need to do. I know some people will take their pen apart completely in order to clean it. That's not me. But you unscrew, and you're left with this wee little bit, which is the barrel. You can see the ink windows. On the section, you have a metal gasket, I guess you could say, that has the ears on it. Do not lose this, or you will not be able to cap your pen properly ever again. And then down here, if we want to look at the nib, do not push here. Just kind of from the sides, gently push on the feed and such. And I found it loosened, and this loosens very well, so happy squirrel. And right here is the top of the feed. I believe that when I was screwing the everything back together on the fine point Lamy 2000, I think this right here is a rubber gasket. I think I may have just screwed it too tight, and then because of the structure of the pen or whatever, allowed it to leak. The feed looks like you would expect. Of course, this is a broad nib. Somebody years ago suggested I might have a double broad, but I am happy to say I have a broad nib. I now want a double broad nib. In fact, looking at the selections of nibs, I've been thinking what another viewer suggested, so thank you. I will be sending you a bill later. I need to get some of these other nib sizes in this fabulous pen. I even need a stainless steel one. I don't really care about the black amber because that was a silly finish, but I do want one stainless steel. Only trouble is they all look alike. I can't get the different finishes like I have with the Platinum 3776. But what happens is this nib, you got to be careful, but it slides off just like the Lamy Safari nib. Now, I'm not going to do it because I see that as a last resort. I think that's why Lamy doesn't sell these nibs loose and free. So to put it all back together, important, first, make sure everything is lined up. Oops, it's out of focus again. Make sure everything is lined up correctly. Don't force anything, just gently and slowly push it in till it seats. Put the ears back on, and I know those ear haters are like, no, do without. Live dangerously. But then I can't cap my pen, so I need my ears. Make sure it's seated properly inside. And then we'll put our Lamy 2000 gently back together. And I'll probably now have to ink this pen up. Doggone it all to heck. I will probably now have to ink this pen up just to make sure it doesn't leak around the section. And then I'll have to write with it, and oh gee willikers. The things I go through for you people. And you can see it fits cleanly back together. If you're really into it, this also comes apart. I have not done it. I will not do it unless I feel the need. Stephen Brown has a video, but apparently you just keep cranking on this piston. It'll sound like it's breaking, and when I watched his video, I'm like, ah! But he got it apart, he pulled out the piston. Again, I choose not to, and any type of opening this pen may void your manufacturer's warranty, so do so with caution. I just had two other brief topics I wanted to bring up. One of them is last week I got into a little talk about YouTube comments, and I think, and in rewatching my video, if this is fair, I think I led a lot of you to believe that the comments are getting to me, and they're not. I mean, read my comments. Yes, I get a few that are just like, oh. But most of the comments I get are actually very nice. I am very lucky. Look at my like to dislike ratio on my videos. I'm just very lucky with the group of viewers that I have. My comments about YouTube, my remarks about YouTube comments weren't about me personally. Yes, I've had all the above comments, but they're spread out over years. I was referring to actually to someone else. I had witnessed it, and it just bothered me a lot, the things that were said to this person about their videos. And I just felt the need to comment, but then I thought, okay, if I comment specifically on this person's videos, this is what was said, well, then I'm drawing attention to it, possibly more negative attention, because those kind of trolls love that kind of stuff. They just dogpile on each other. So I thought, okay, we'll make it about me, keep it neutral. And yes, I've had those comments over the years, but they're few and far between. I mean, again, look at the comments I get. I have deleted a handful of comments. I can probably count them on one hand. Well, okay, except for one troll. I deleted about 10 comments from one troll. But other than the troll, I've deleted about 5 comments over the years. I just don't. And I don't mind negative criticism. I don't even mind negative comments. A lot of times the comments are just like, you know, if you get a negative comment, you respond with something positive, like, well, thank you for being so honest about what I can do to improve my channel. Do you have any other suggestions? Which may sound passive-aggressive, but at the same time, if they've taken the trouble to make a negative comment, if they care, they may actually be like, whoa, he actually listened to me. And, you know, it helps if you actually do listen. You know, you may decide, well, I don't really care what you think, and go on with your life. But at the same time, you know, it's no harm in listening to criticism. Sometimes it's just put badly. But anyway, all those, nothing is going to change in this channel. I hope for continual refinement, but I'm not looking for any drastic changes. I'm not looking for, oh my gosh, I got to change the whole way I do things, because not going to happen. Sorry. So, or not sorry, because I'm really not sorry. It's just the way I am, because I'm not in this for the money, because I don't make money at this channel. I make a little bit from the advertising, that's it. I've been putting it back in the channel, either in the form of pens or equipment, but yeah, I don't, I don't think you can get rich at pen reviewing. Possibly if I do, I don't know, video game walkthroughs or something, but I don't play video games, so I guess you're stuck with pen reviews. In other topics, I got to look at my list here. I guess I only have one other topic. I do have an Instagram channel. I will try to remember to put a link down here. I do IGTV videos. It's been an experimental thing, just me trying, and I look at the pens I have inked up this week, and I'm like, okay, let's do a video on those, and try to find a theme linking them together. I actually have a theme this week. I will be filming that as soon as I shut this down. I'll turn that camera sideways, which I really hate about IGTV. Sorry, but I hate it. And I'm going to do a video about comparing the Lamy 2000 with the Kaweco V14S. I hate it because this camera that you can't see over here where I do the writing samples, I leave as is, but I have to turn my writing sample like this, and I have to kneel on the floor there to do it, which is even more awkward than how I am positioned to write when I'm sitting here. So, yeah. And I'm limited to 10 minutes. So, not a huge fan of IGTV. I keep thinking I need to do a video on IGTV. And I just realized you can't see my writing samples. I feel like I need to do a video about IGTV here on YouTube, but I think I'll say too much negative. I'm not sure if that experiment will continue. I don't have a lot of viewers there. I don't have a lot of Instagram subscribers, and I'm just kind of wondering, is it worth it? Or would it be better to spend my time doing another YouTube video or getting ahead on YouTube? I don't know. I always film the IGTV with this, and it's a once-a-week show on Fridays. I can't even schedule like I do with this, because if I'm a good boy, like it's Thursday night right now, I will schedule this to be shown, become visible to the public at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. That's trying to remember this time of year if it's -6 or -7 UTC, but anyway, it doesn't matter because the United States still does daylight savings time. But anyway, I can't schedule on IGTV like I can on YouTube, so I've got to be there. Well, tomorrow night we have a major football game. We'll be playing Beulah High School. They've thoroughly trashed us in the past, but this year our football team is building on the success of several previous years and has actually had a very successful year. We will be having at least one, probably 2 play-in games to state football this fall yet, and they will be at home. And we'll see. We may make it to state. We may not. It depends on how the 2 play-in games go. But just the fact that it's there, because I remember some awful losses. So anyway, I see I'm about out of time on that camera, so we'll close it here. I want to thank you for watching. So if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens, both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. If you'd like to talk about any of the pens I showed you, the black background, or possibly the Lamy 2000 nib, or maybe you want to talk about IGTV and berate it, or my comments on YouTube, please feel free to leave a comment below. That's 3 comments. So I thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.